Hey, you all. It's Legacy coming to you on this beautiful, beautiful day that God created. I'm in a space of gratitude, and you all, hopefully, you can hear me over the ocean. It's gorgeous today. But I'm coming to you from a space of gratitude because the more and more we learn about flowing, the more and more we learn about releasing, the more and more we learn about surrendering, the external circumstances and factors that come at you don't as adversely affect you anymore. So what I tell my staff and what I tell even my friends and some colleagues, I say, no matter what I do, it's based upon who God created me. It's based upon my center, my essence, so that when trials and tribulations come up, when even spiritual attacks come up, even when hardships come up, it's easier to manage your well-being. It's easier to manage your emotional state. It's easier to manage your spirit being because you are steadfast and because you are continuously in a space of flowing and surrendering and giving, right? You're giving of yourself, you're giving of your energy, but you're also being discerning about that. You're also being wise about that. You're understanding that you are not easily movable. And that's funny when we talk about flowing, because when we think about flowing, we think about what does it mean to just like be in the ease and movement. But I had one of my beautiful sisters reach out to me, and she's an alchemist, and she reminded me of the energy and power we hold within and how to move that energy through your body physically, but also spiritually. And so I took time this morning to, get up and pray, talk to God, be in nature, but also to release, also to move energy within my being. I have forgotten, because I've been doing it so many days now consistently, that I've forgotten that yesterday was the last day. It depends on where you are in the world, because right now it is Saturday here, but Friday would have been my last day of my 30-day mantra and manifestation that I've been working on. And I won't talk to you specifically about what that manifestation looked like or sounded like, but it was all about flow, all about releasing, all about surrendering to purpose, prophecy, and promise. So now that that is completed, I'm looking forward to seeing how that manifests in real time in this season. And then I have to remind myself to breathe. To breathe and to release. Deep breathing, not that shallow staccato breathing that we typically do, where we're always in angst or always in strain or under duress, but just that flow. Taking in life, taking in spirit, taking in heart, reclaiming our power back to our being, back to ourselves. Because so many times, because of external factors, whether it is family challenges, whether it's relationship problems, whether it is strain and toxicity at work, we often will give our power away. And we have to remind ourselves of who we are, who God created us to be. We have to remind ourselves of our spirithood. We have to remind ourselves of our bloodline and reclaim and call back our power to our bodies, back to our spirithood. So I did a little bit of that this morning because it was long overdue, I believe. It was time for me to pull back my power, the power that I released. I often give out constantly, sometimes incessantly. And so reminding myself to keep a stockpile of my power and energy for self and not give out everything for everyone, especially if people are not appreciative of it or taking it for granted. And you have to be mindful of who you are giving your pearls to. People who will eat up your energy and then leave you with nothing, leave you with depleted, and try to find out why you're not feeling well. You know what I mean? Like, take your power and take your energy and then be like, what's wrong with you? And so being mindful of that, like I said, being discerning and how you move your energy, the gifts that you give, when you give them, how you give them, where you give them, and who you give them to. And then that deep inner work about understanding why you're giving some of your energy to certain people. And is that serving you? And is that not even prospering you, but is that prospering your soul? Because you know there's a clear linkage between somatic and spiritual. There's a clean linkage between somatic and emotional. There's a clear linkage between what we output, what we give, what we do, and then how it manifests within ourselves. So being mindful of that as you navigate these new seasons and spaces. Some of you all are going into new seasons that will stretch you beyond your comfort zone, which is where I honestly believe life begins, but also stretch you out of places that were familiar to you. So then it's unknown, and that can get very uncomfortable. So being mindful of those new seasons and spaces that you're walking into, and then identifying who you're working with, who you are laboring with, who is tear, who is me, like identifying who is around you will be important. And so one beautiful thing about my life here in this space, in this capacity, as Courtney, as Zekesis, is that God has been beautifully kind to me, so that there's been constant revelations, there's been confirmation. So never too long does someone be in my space, be in my sphere, and not have the right energy or right intentions before it's revealed. And I earnestly appreciate that, because I'm in a space where I just want to be surrounded by love, earnest kindness, earnest commitment to my well-being. And so that is all that I will receive at this season of my life. I have a solar return, a birthday coming up later on this month, and I'm grateful for that. And typically that birthday time for me is a very arduous time, a very strenuous time, because I'm in a constant state of deep contemplation, sometimes bordering on rumination. Identify like the purpose. Am I living my purpose? Am I giving enough? And it's always this deep assessment, and I am not going into that space this year. I am reflective, I am contemplative, I am grateful, I am surrendering to flow, I'm surrendering to God. But I am grateful and thankful for recent revelations that have happened, so that I know who is laboring among me, I know who is really for me. And I tell people, you know, when you carry a light, when you carry a gift, when you carry an anointing, and you mirror, so those who have the mirroring gift, it is very challenging for people around you, because when you marry that person, what they either see is the highlights of what they need to do, you know, grow in, or the things they are doing well, or things they've been running from or suppressing, or things that they know that they don't themselves have. And being connected to a mirror is challenging, it's difficult. And so that then feels like for that mirror itself, that person who has the mirroring gift, that sometimes people turn on you, some people attack you, people that you would least suspect to try to assassinate your character, they will do that because they're in a space of discomfort within their own selves. So as you learn these things, as you come against these things, be mindful of that, and still extend them grace. Still show them grace, because I truly believe that we do reap the seeds that we have sown. And sometimes when you're reaping the seeds that you've sown, it can be harrowing, it can be devastating. And so you never want anybody to be at a space of complete devastation. You don't ever want someone to be dismantled in their being. You never want someone to be broken in their spirit. And so you still extend them grace, and you still pray for them, because that is who you are, that is your heart. And so as you navigate these new seasons and spaces, just be mindful, be discerning, put pen to paper about what it is that you want to do. What is your plan? How are you living your purpose? How are you fulfilling the promise? You know? And so take time to reflect. Take time to be. Take time to sit with self. Take time to heed the messaging that God is giving you, the spirit chatter that you might hear from time to time, if you have the gift of hearing. It can be a journey, but the journey is beautiful because it's not always about the destination. It's typically not ever about the destination, right? It's about the path in which you take and how you move about that path. So I'm giving you all the love, all the peace, all the joy. I will be doing my virtual bugs. I will be doing my virtual Define and Release class. It's going to be October 12th, Saturday at 3 p.m. EST, which means for those who are in my time zone, that is Sunday, and that is at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m. I'm 15 hours ahead of you. 3 to 3, that's 3 a.m. plus 3, that is 6. Yep. So 6 a.m. 6 a.m. we will have the virtual Define and Release class, and I'll be talking a little bit more about what I shared with you all earlier today about the whole releasing, the flowing, the surrendering, what that looks like for you, and how you're trying to live through your purpose, live through your promise, live through the prophecy. All right, love you so much. Bye, y'all.